students, a very good morning to all of you. Here at Khagaria, it's raining for 2 days. Sometimes it rains cats and dogs, and sometimes it drizzles. On the whole, the weather has become very cool. It's a very fine weather. The extreme heat of summer has gone, and it's a very cool. The sultriness of heat is gone, and it's a very fine, cool and happy weather. Just 2 or 3 days earlier, I have tried to describe the poem Snake for the students of BA Part 3rd through e-teaching by loading a video on the YouTube, but that day the poem was not completed, it was incomplete, and I promised that day to the students that the poem will be completed later on. So today I have a good mind to complete the poem that is Snake, written by D.S. Lawrence, a great poet, novelist, playwright, a traveler writer of the 19th and 20th century. As I have told you, Snake is one of the beautiful poems written by D.S. Lawrence, in which he is trying to convey, he is trying to give a message to the society that this world is created by the Almighty, by the God, and this almost all the creatures have been created by the same dignitary, by the same authority, and this place is a living abode of almost all the creatures. We must live upon this earth with harmony, and we must not try to disturb unnecessarily to any creature. Here, the poet is describing, the poet is here telling, or the poet is providing or giving his own experience when he was in Sicily, and there he goes to bring water at his tap or at his water tube, and there he finds a snake drinking water. The poet gets very much impressed. The poet, like a civilized person, like an educated person, decides to wait, thinking that it was the snake which had come there before him. So it was his chance to get water. But we find, while going to the poem, that a debate goes on, takes place between the mind and the heart of the poet, between the emotion of his heart and education of his mind, and his education suggests him to kill that snake because that snake was of golden color, and in Sicily that type of snake are venomous. Now we will see from here. But must I confess how I liked him? Dear students, if you have the book, please turn the book. But must I confess how I liked him, how glad I was he had come like a guest in quiet to drink at my water too, and depart peaceful, pacified and thankless into the burning bowels of this earth. The poet is mesmerized, you can see. The poet is enamored of the snake. He finds himself hospitable, you can say. He is very happy that the snake has provided him the chance to be his host. he is very much impressed with the snake and he confesses it, he accepts it, and he is very much proud of himself that it was his house, it was his step which has been selected by the snake, and this way the snake has glorified him, you can say. Therefore, he says that snake is not going to harm him. It is not going to disturb him. After drinking water, the snake is bound to leave that place peacefully without creating any uproar, without creating any problem to the poet. Was it cowardice? See the discussion, see the debate that goes on between the mind and the heart of the poet. The poet is questioning himself, at the same time he is answering himself. He is answering to himself also here. Was it cowardice that I dared not kill him? पोएट पूछ रहा है अपने से, he is asking himself कि क्या ये उसका कायराना हरकत उसकी थी, क्या वो डर गया था, क्या वो कायर था, क्या उसके पास हिम्मत नहीं थी उस सांप को मारने की. He has no courage to kill that snake. Therefore simply he is trying to avoid his cowardice, telling that he was very happy to have the snake at his home. He was very much enamored of his having his guest. He was very happy with the beauty of the snake, etc., etc. Was it perversity that I longed to talk to him? The poet longs, the poet desires, the poet wants to talk to the snake. He is so much impressed, he is so much enamored of the snake, and at the same time he asks himself rather, if he wants to talk to the snake, it seems that this desire of his of talking to the snake might be the result of the perversity, of the disease, of the wrong thinking of his mind. Was it humility to feel so honored? The poet fails to decide what was that. Either his not killing to the snake was his cowardice, or his liking for the snake was his humility. I felt so honored, but he was feeling honored. He feels that by choosing his water through his house, the snake has honored him and ate those voices. The poet is very much concerned with the voice of his education also. If you were not afraid, you would kill him. His inner voice, you can say, the voice of his mind, the voice of his education, pesters him again and again, telling him that if you are not afraid of the snake, if you are not a coward, if you have the courage, if you are a hero, go and kill the snake and show your courage, show your heroism, you can say. And truly, I was afraid. The poet also confesses it, that if he was enamored of the snake, he was a bit afraid of it also. I was most afraid, but even so, honored still more. But he was feeling very much honored of himself also, that he should seek my hospitality. I have told you time and again that there are so many houses there in the row, but the snake has come to the water through of the poet, and the poet thinks that by doing so, the snake has obliged him. Thus, the poet is very much grateful, you can say, Grateful. The poet is very, very much grateful to the snake to come to his water through, to drink water, and thus obliging him. Then he should seek my hospitality from out from out that dark door, see the alliteration of D sound, the dark door of the sacred earth, he drank enough. See the minute in that previous class, I have also tried to arrest your attention about it or through it or regarding it, you can say, or in this context, that the poet is observing each and every action of the snake there very much closely. It's a very, very minute observation of the poet. He drank enough and lifted his head. Who is here? Here, the snake. He lifted his head dreamily, because now he is not thirsty. After having his thirst quenched, it seems to the poet that the snake has started dreaming, you can say, dreamily, as one who has drunken. It happens if you are very much thirsty, and if you drink a glass of water, you will find it. For the time being, it seems that you are drunken. And flickered his tongue. His tongue comes out. The snake lets his tongue come out of his mouth. And oh, how dreadful is the tongue of the snake. And flickered his tongue like a forked knife. Like simile is here, like a forked knife on the air. So black. Oh God. Black. With poison. His poison has got thick, you can say, upon the tongue of the snake. The snake is flickering that unfaithful tongue of his, seeming to lick his lips. There might be some drop of water upon his lips. Therefore, the snake flickers his tongue just to lick that water that was there on his lips, and looked around like a god. See, a small g has been used here for God. And looked around like a god, unseeing into the air, and slowly turned his head. This poem is full of alliteration, you can say. And simply, and looked around like a god, unseeing into the air, and slowly turned his head, and slowly, very slowly, as if thrice a dream, proceeded to draw his slow length, curving round. See the cadence, see the musicality that is there in the poem, you can say, in the lines, and climb again the broken bank, the alliteration of B sound, broken bank of my wall face. Here, the poet describes that after drinking water, after quenching his thirst, the snake waits for a while, waits for a few seconds, and after that he has started his returning journey, you can say, and he has started for the place from where he has come. And as he put his head into that dreadful hole, the snake has come out of the hole, and he is trying to go inside the same hole, and see, hole is noun and dreadful is adjective. How greatly, how cleverly, how nicely the poet describes the hole, telling dreadful. If you find a snake going into the hole, going in a hole, and if someone asks you to put your hand there, put your finger there, to let your finger go inside that hole, I think none of you, even I, am not going to do that, because that hole is very much fearful, very much dreadful. भयानक है वो, terrible है, horrible है, भयंकर है. And as he put his head into that dreadful hole, and as he slowly drew up, snake, easing his shoulder, entered further, a sort of horror, a sort of protest against his withdrawing into the horrid black hole. Once again, see here, black hole, because there is darkness inside the hole. And which type of black hole it was? It was horrid. It was terrific. It was a hoary, H-O-A-R-Y, horrid, terrible, terrific, dreadful hole, you can say. Deliberately going into the blackness and slowly drawing himself after. Once again I will tell you, this was the very, very minute observation of the poet. The poet is observing very closely each and every activity of the snake. Here the snake is dragging, khichna. The snake is creeping, or the snake is dragging his body inside that dreadful, inside that horrid hole, you can say, himself after. Overcame me. Now his back was turned. His back was turned. A hero is he who attacks someone from the face, you can say. If you attack someone on his back, it is known, or it is called your cowardice. As long as the snake was out, the poet doesn't think to harm the snake. It's human psychology. What happens with the poet? The same happens with people also. Therefore, I have told you it's a human psychology. Since the snake, since the mouth of that dreadful mouth of the snake is inside the hole, and only the back portion is out, therefore something happens. Naughtiness, you can say, tickles the mind of the poet, you can say. And what he does here, I looked around. The poet might not have done this if the mouth of the snake would have been out. I looked round, I put down my pitcher, and I picked a clumsy log. A clumsy log was there, a piece of wood was there. And what does the poet do? And through it, he picks up that log. And from where he has got this courage to do so? He has got his courage to do so because the face, the mouth of the snake is inside the hole. Its back, his back is barred, his back is out. Otherwise, it would not have been. The poet would not have thought about picking of the log, what to talk of throwing it towards the snake. But here he picks up the clumsy log and he throws it towards the snake and threw it at the water through with a clatter, with a sound. I think it did not hit him. But suddenly that part of him that was left behind convulsed, made a jerk, you can say, in undignified haste, wreathed like lightning. Beautiful use of the simile here. Wreathed like lightning and was gone. So within a flash, you can say, within the twinkling of an eye, you can say, the rest part that was out of that hole, out of that shade, you can say, goes inside the hole. The snake, guessing the danger produced by the clattering sound of the log, draws in a flash his outer part that was out of the hole, you can say, and was gone. I And the poet is left there thinking upon his action. And what does he do here? See here. Into the black hole, the earth leaped fissure. These are the uses of poetry. That stills, S-T-E-A-L-S, that stills the heart of the readers. See the beauty of this line. Here the poet says, the earth leaped fissure. The hole, the fissure has been personified here by the poet. Earth leaped. If there is some crack, if there is some hole, you can say, if there is some crack, if there is some fissure, दरार जिसको आप कहते हैं, if you get a cut here upon your skin, there will be a fissure caused here, and that fissure will be divided into two parts, two. And the same, the poet says that these two parts are the two leaps of the earth, of that you can say, of that fissure, you can say. वो जो fissure है, वो जो दरार है, जैसे आपके हमारे मुंह में दो ओठ है, छेद, बीच में छेद है, मुंह का छेद है, और वो छेद कैसे बंद है भैया? ये फीसर से बंद है. एक पार्ट हो गया दिस एंड द अदर पार्ट इज दिस. So just like that, and in that fissure, in that earth-lived fissure of the wall, front wall, you can say, the snake has gone. The snake has entered, you can say. At which, in the intense still noon, I stared with fascination. Now the snake is gone. Snake is not there. The poet is left alone. Alone with his thought, with his action, with his repentance, you can say. The poet is looking at that particular fissure with great attention, with fascination, you can say. And immediately I regretted it. As I have told you, the poet is left there. He is all alone. There is no one. He is the only person there with his action and reaction, with his repenting, with his repentance. And you know, there is a great literature in Hindi literature, and his name is Mr. Kamleshwar, and he says कि आदमी को पाप नहीं मारता है, आदमी को पाप का पश्चाताप मारता है, उसका रिपेंटेंस मारता है. The poet is sad here because he is repenting, he is regretting his action. And what does he further say? And immediately I regretted it. I thought, how paltry, how vulgar, what a mean act. Now the poet is cursing his education. Which type of education he has got? This world is the living abode, living place of almost all creatures. And we must live here in harmony, with peace. And unless and until a creature becomes harmful to us, we must not disturb him. We must not kill him. Here the snake has the right to drink water. The water has been created by nature. Snake is also a living creature. He also needs water. So he was just drinking water. He has not done anything wrong to the poet. So he should not have been. The poet should not have. No doubt, there might not be any foul intention of the poet behind pegging, you can say, behind throwing that log towards him. That log did not hit him. It might be a chance. It might have hit him. It might have injured him. Our education must not make us barbarous. Education must do away our savagery. Here the poet is repenting, telling his action was very mean act, mean action, vulgar. You can say petty, you can say paltry. I despised myself. It's a very, very critical situation. When someone despises himself, if one despises oneself, it's a very very nasty thing, nasty. पोएट को अपने से घृणा होती है. I despised myself. He hates himself. Which type of man he is? Which type of education? Which type of education has he got? So I despised myself and the voices of my accursed. See the line, see the word, see the use that has been done by the poet here. My accursed human education. The poet is cursing his education. The poet is not happy with his education. He is cursing. He should not have got such type of education which has made him so inhuman as to throw the log toward the snake. And when his back was out, and I thought of the albatross. Here the poet evokes Coleridge's great poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, in which the old mariner unnecessarily, unwantedly, you can say, in a cynicism, you can say, kills albatross. And he has to pay the price for his cynicism. In the poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, the mariner has to pay the very heavy price for his wantonness, you can say, for his cynicism, you can say. Here, the poet is remembering. The poet here alludes, A-L-L-U-D-E-S, he alludes his action towards the killing of the albatross by the ancient mariner, he can say, and I wished he would come back, my snake. See the term, see the phrase, my snake. The poet starts here, personal rapport. The poet tries to establish his personal rapport with the snake, telling him my snake, and he has a desire to have the reappearance of the snake there, for he seemed to me again like a king in exile. The snake appears to the poet like a king, which the king who is in exile, जिसको देश से निकाल दिया गया होगा, निर्वासित, you can say, uncrowned in the underworld, now due to be crowned again. He must be crowned. He must not be in exile. He must not try to lead his life in darkness. Why the snake should live his life in darkness? He must not lead his life in a hidden place, you can say. He must be given the chance to live his life as freely as we people live. He is the king. He must not be uncrowned. He should be crowned. So here, you have seen that the poem very beautifully brings two opposite things, you can say, at one point. There is a beautiful discussion or description of the two voices. One, the voice of education, the voice of the mind of the poet, at the same time the voice of the heart of the poet. The poet, under the effect of his education, of his educational voice, of the voice of his mind, for the time being picks up the log, throws it toward the snake, but he is very much repentive, regretful of his action. And he says, a man must not do such petty act, such meanful act, such mean act, you can say. So the very gist of the poem is this, that this world is of ours. It has been created by the Supreme Father, by the superpower, by God, the Almighty, who is omniscient, who is omnipresent, and almost all the creatures have been created by the same power. The earth, the nature is bountiful. It has brought to us so many gifts, and we must live together and enjoy the gifts of God, the bounties of God. We must not disturb each other unnecessarily. We must love each other. We must live with peace. We must live with harmony. And this is the very message of the poet. So I have tried my level best to drive this poem home to you people. I think you people might have enjoyed the poem. This poem might have changed the color of your thinking. Now onwards, I am not telling you that you should go and you should try to hug, you should try to embrace the snake, telling, oh my snake, you are so lovely, or this or that. You must maintain a distance, as you are maintaining at present the social distancing in this corona period, corona काल जिसको आप कहते हैं. So you must maintain some distance with the snake, because he too, the snake, also wants to make distance from you people. So we must not disturb each other. We must try to live with peace, live with harmony. This is the message of the poem. If you feel any problem in understanding the poem, you must send your problem through your comment. I will try my level best to sort out your problems. Prepare yourself for the coming examination. There are so many things which you have to prepare. Live healthy, stay home, live a sound life, have a good health. Thank you. God bless.